in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast, Wednesday Show number 7 with my co-host Brent Carlson, Ride Shotgun here from the Dryland Farmer Podcast. How you doing, bud?
I don't know. Are you sure this is recording?
We're recording this time, faux show, so don't have to worry about that.
I guess I'm okay because I'm
That's
not.
what you said
that.
last time, so I just want to make sure you're still okay.
I was okay. You have the problem.
Yeah, it's you know what, man. Sometimes you get rolling these things and you forget to hit record, and next thing you know, you're 30 minutes in and you got nothing. So, not that we were that far in, but it was quite a ways in to jack things up. So, we were talking about a short supply of propane and how that was going to have an effect on the market. You think so, but now guys aren't.
Forgotten that.
Guys were having a hard time getting enough propane to dry down their corn back east. So I got to think that that's going to add another layer to this mystery here of what the USDA is going to do with the overall stocks and those kind of things, and how that's all going to play into the market, and how traders are going to view this and all that stuff. Because what's today, Wednesday? So Friday, as that report comes out, there's going to be some fireworks, I think, one way or the other on Friday.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a possibility. That is what the supply. I don't know why I keep looking at my watch. It's not going to tell me anything.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Is this recording? Yeah, this is a red dot there. All right. Yeah, let's see. That's going to be what, supply demand report or crop?
Yeah, it's supply and demand. Yep.
I don't know, man. I guess there could be fireworks. You think the propane story is big enough?
Well, I don't think it's big enough to affect anything on Friday, for Friday's report anyway. But I think there's going to be. This is going to have a whole new layer. It made Pro Farmer, so they're watching.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's
they wrote that, what, 6 weeks ago?
No, yesterday. Well,
it's an online article?
In their online article. So
okay.
there's going to be some juice there somewhere, and how that affects everything is going to be an even bigger deal, because if you can't dry down corn, you can't take it in, right?
Right,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, there's going to have an effect there, and then you start looking at spoilage and everything else that's going to play into that from having wet corn laying around. So I don't know. It's going to be a fun next couple months for sure.
Yeah. See, we don't deal with that down here because all of our stuff goes into the co-op elevator, and so they take everything on the corn. They take everything under 18, and they'll shrink you down. And
right.
But I know they. I don't know. I think it's more just moving fans. I don't think they're having to heat anything. So of course at 18, I don't guess they would.
No.
But it's all just ambient air at this point down here. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they had guys. Those guys back east all have dryers and everything right there on the farm, and they must cut that stuff at pretty high moisture to get it down to 18, I guess.
Yeah, which all of ours is food corn, and I can't imagine, like, if it gets much above 18 anyway, it cracks and everything in the combine, and they're doing it at like 25 or better. But I guess if they're doing cow corn, I don't guess it's just terribly a huge issue.
Right.
But yeah. So I can't imagine. I've never been in the high moisture corn stuff. We've always had to wait till it dries down. So yeah.
That's how it is here, man.
Yeah.
In Kansas, the same way. It was just you wait till it was dry enough in the field to cut it, and then you brought it in. So
we just got done. We had a late planted circle. We finished yesterday, and during the season, the ears were about eye level, and when we cut them yesterday, they were about your business level. Where they were, because it had a big freeze on it. It looked like 1987 out there because there was no leaves left. All it was a stalk in the ear, and it obviously didn't make a huge yield. It was maybe a little close to 200, but that the freeze really knocked it back. Those test weights were getting in those 57 range, and which we'd like to see it higher than that, but you can't expect a whole lot after it gets 15 degrees on it when it's still, black layer.
Right.
So, but it was an afterthought, and we had failed cotton there that got too much weather on it early on. So we planted that like 1st of June, and it turned out, I mean, it made some money, but it wasn't a yield buster. So we were doing that. And then right next door, we were on the same section. We were pulling cotton on another circle. So we did milo, corn, and cotton all in one day, and now we're just down to the cotton. So
right on.
And it's fixing to get
Well,
wet.
for those that you don't know, you can find Brent on Twitter.
Everybody knows.
At Trader Brent. I mean, you're blowing it up, dude. You're a Twitter all-star. But
yeah.
The reason he is Trader Brent because he is a trader, and I mean, being unofficially, but he dabbles in the market. So what's going on out there right now, Brent? You got your eyes on?
Well, just looking out here at the overnights, you've got a little bit of a just absolute excitement in the grain market. You had wheat up 2, you have corn up. Oh, holy crap, dude! It's up 2 1/4.
Look out!
Was there a report out or something?
No, it's just it has to go up that much in the morning so it can lose twice that.
Lose 4.5. Yeah. So yeah, corn's up in the D's at 2 1/4. Next year's new crop is at well, I guess that is new crop, but March of 20 is up 3/4 cents, and you got your beans, which nobody cares about down here, but they're up 1 1/4, and your meal and oil. That's meal and oil. That's a Thanksgiving dinner right there. At least we're going to talk about later. I may have to add that to my recipe, but meat and bill are meal and oil. They're pretty flat on the day. And then you got your hard red winter, which is all we care about. It's up also 2 cents there at 430.5. So not a whole lot in the overnight. The corn's been flat it's been flat for weeks on end. It seems like, been between that 380 and about 392 mark for the last several few weeks, and been pretty flat. I'm still trading on that intercommodity spread between the Chicago and the hard red winter, that Kansas City wheat, and it's still way out there, man. It's like let's see if I can do that in my head real quick. It was about 86 cents premium to the December Chicago wheat, and it took me for 10 cents 2 different times. So and right now, if I can get about 40 cents on these lots, I'll be back to break even. But we haven't understood the whole time this thing has been just grinding lower to the Chicago side. It got out there to almost $1 premium. I don't know if it hit the actual dollar or not, but it's the fundamental. I mean, there's a little smaller supply of Chicago wheat, but there's not that much. All we could decide was that that Chicago wheat is so much more heavily traded, and I guess it just got more attention, or there's no telling what. But whatever the case, that lower protein wheat is getting more love than that Kansas City. So all in all, and over in the livestock, now the livestock's been pretty impressive. The cattle have gained everything back they lost after that Packer fire up there in Kansas. So Well, so yesterday, my daily market summary email came in, and let me see if I can pull it up. I bet I can remember it. They have a Packer margin line on every day for the Packers. And let's see, daily market summary. And here we go. So the Packer margin yesterday was $445.94 a head. The previous day was $438. Previous week, $420. Previous year, $247. The 5-day average is $432 a head on the Packer margin. And I don't know, of course, the profit loss on the actual cattle producers is a little hard to gauge because it's a little more over the place where people are hedged or whatever. But looked like the asking prices this week are from 117 to 120 in the north, and 114. Well, no, that can't be right. They got that wrong because that's dressed. But 114 to 116 in the south. So probably that'd be 160 or 70 dressed. I can't remember. But whatever the case, the Packers are doing okay, and the producers, I don't know, depending on your marketing strategy, you're probably making maybe a little money or you're losing a bunch. So whatever the case, it's a strong market for the Packers, and they're pretty much in the driver's seat right now from what I can see.
Yeah, there's a little bit of fishiness there.
If they want a collusion story, I think the CNN needs to go check out that collusion story when you've only got 4 or 5 Packers. So
and they
which that story is old as time itself. So yeah,
that is true.
And
that is very true.
Not that I follow it, but the milk price is really strong now. The November and December, they're hovering right around the $20 mark, and I think anything about from what I've heard, anything over about 17 is pretty much a whole lot of gravy. So
Yeah, so right now you're looking at Sean Hackett, that's on here on the Moving Iron podcast on the market side of it. He talks quite a bit about milk and what we see out there, and he sends out some good information he sends out. But this right now, what's driving that price is that New Zealand weather is basically like it was here during the spring, wet and cold and everything else, and it's the pastures and everything that they feed those cows on in New Zealand, they're not producing hay, and so now they're having a hard time keeping cows fed and all the stuff that go along with that. So that's kind of the main milk market is New Zealand, and then the U.S. and everything else. So that's driving that market up pretty good. So you can see, unfortunately, he thinks it's very short term, not a long term gig, but we'll see what happens. But that Class 3 milk price really does affect the number of choppers that we sell. So hopefully that stays up there. So.
And I'm not sure what exactly they get versus that board number. I don't know what the basis is. Of course, down here, it's all kind of the whole profit margin deal is all based on cheese. Everybody down here is really geared towards the cheese.
And that's what's driving the milk market is the cheese market.
Yeah. Lord knows we do our part here to keep demand up.
Right on.
Oh, man.
All right. So you had a humdinger of a story you wanted to bring up.
Oh, man. The Huffington Post, a known neo-Nazi, I'm sorry, they're not right, are they? They're left, I think. The Huffington Post had this genius article, Casey, about how we should cancel Thanksgiving because it is so hard and so dangerous to the environment. Now,
really? Okay.
Right off the top of the bat, HuffPo, this is from the Blaze. HuffPo calls to cancel Thanksgiving over global warming, and the online ridicule is brutal. Now, before you even go into the story, you're going to take one of the national pastimes of America, which is eating. Right. Not only that, but overeating. You're going to take that right away from Americans. That's what we do best.
Right. That's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the Super Bowl of our stomachs.
Right.
All we do is sit there, eat carbs, calories, and, depending on your family, get hammered down drunk and watch the Cowboys on Thursday afternoon. That's all we ask for is one day a year where we don't get ridiculed for overeating. Now, we overeat the rest of the year every day.
Right.
But, unless you're some weirdo that follows some guy on podcast that gets up at like 4 a.m. to go work out and calls donuts circles of lies named Jocko.
Sugar-coated lies, bro. Get it right.
Sugar-coated lie. You know what? I had 2 sugar-coated lies yesterday, and I still feel great. I'll take that lie to the grave. So anyway, they're saying to cancel Thanksgiving. Social media exploded with ridicule and vituperation. I've never used that word before. I thought it was an STD. But after a Huffington Post article proposed canceling the beloved national holiday of Thanksgiving over its carbon footprint, the liberal news outlet recommended that people simply stop traveling for Thanksgiving and eat vegetables instead of meat-based recipes to lessen the environmental impact. So you can imagine what the ridicule is of Twitter. I'm sure you got all the crazies that are all into this, but there's a whole more people that not so favorable. So I thought I would be a little sympathetic to this article, and I decided, well, you know what, maybe we'll still have Thanksgiving, but we're going to change up the recipe. We're going to change up the food menu. The menu, that word I've been trying to look for the last 30 minutes, finally came to me. The menu. So, Casey, I don't know if you've got any music you want to post-produce in this thing, but this is solid gold right here. So, you've got your dressings, you've got your cranberry sauces, mashed potatoes. Casey, what is do you have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner menu?
It's your typical, turkey and mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes and potatoes.
Yeah. See, of course, we're in Texas. We're in more so the Texas Panhandle. My in-laws are more so registered Angus breeders, so we rarely have turkey. We always have
like a prime rib or something.
Yeah, we have. Oh man, it's pretty tight. So so we have the typical. Everything's pretty typical, other than the meat source. And this meat source in this new menu will definitely not be traditional. So we're going to go ahead and start off with that dressing. Now, we did a little research, and over the last couple of years, this is what we've kind of came up with. So we collected acorns, leaves, and anything we could find in the vacant lot next to our outreach center, And we mixed them all together in a nice mixture of what we no longer call dressing, but now we call it trash pudding.
Oh, it's delicious.
So that's our dressing. That's our dressing menu. And then down next, you got to have your cranberry sauce. Now, for the cranberry sauce, we knew that they come in tin cans, and I know that's got to be some kind of carbon negative footprint. So instead of that, we just killed all of our cattle since they are farting up the environment anyway, pun intended. We collected their blood clots and pressed those clots into the form of either tin cans or McRib sandwiches.
Oh, delicious.
So we went that. We still call it a cranberry sauce. It's more of a, I don't know, a Jell-O slab is what we call it. But so now everybody loves mashed potatoes. Now, instead of the mashed potatoes, because potatoes take a lot to harvest, they take a lot to process, they take a lot to grow. So we decided we're not even going to go organic. I know not organic is against the whole environmental footprint of everything and being environmentally friendly, but we had to acquiesce to this point anyway. But so what we did is we pulled styrofoam from a landfill, crushed it, and poured reclaimed water over it for a lovely texture.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, and you got to keep it under heat, but you have to use candles because we're not using electricity to heat our foods. So that's our mashed potatoes. And I don't know, have you ever had blood soup, Casey? I know that's
blood soup. That's a
delicacy.
New one. Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah, that's a new one. It's not the actual blood soup is not really blood. I think that's just some kind of a name for it. But instead of the blood soup, we used actual blood from an actual human baby, thereby decreasing the population, which inhibits further human destruction of the environment. So we're really looking forward to that one. We just got to find somebody to volunteer their children.
Yeah, that's kind of like the veal of soup,
yeah,
right?
It is. It certainly is. Except we throw the baby away. We don't do anything else with the baby. You know, they use the whole body. So,
Makes sense.
For the meat, instead of our traditional turkey, which we don't use traditional turkey anyway, we sit roadside the night before Thanksgiving and wait for something to get hit. We call this road fishing. It's really a great family activity that you can get all the kids involved in. They get to stay up late, hold flashlights, and if the animal that gets hit on the highway doesn't quite die all the way, you give them a bat and you get to beat them with it. It's like a jackrabbit roundup in the Depression area of the 1930s.
Right. Yeah.
And then for the dessert, pumpkin pie.
Oh, of course. You got to keep it traditional.
Because that's, it's also a vegetable. Well, what is it? It's a gourd, isn't it? So
yeah.
Pumpkin pie for dessert. That's our menu for the new environmentally friendly Thanksgiving dinner.
That sounds like a delicious thing. I don't know if I'll be able to make it this year to enjoy your feast, but
why?
I mean, next you can just tell me how it is. Weather, the weather's bad. And
what is this? The Oregon Trail?
Yeah, it's a long ways.
Well, the Oregon Trail would be environmentally friendly.
Yeah. I do play that same game with my kids, though, the roadkill bingo, and it works out well. You got whatever comes across there, you get extra points for sparrows. So, I mean, things are working out well.
What is the roadkill up there?
It's your typical stuff, your possum, your raccoon, occasional coyote. You get a lot of every once in a while you see someone that got their windshield bashed in by a pheasant or a buzzard or something like that.
So, we've apparently armadillo, not here, but you get maybe south of, I would say, Abilene, maybe down at Abilene. And I guess armadillos, man, every time we go down there, there's an armadillo dead on the highway. I guess those things are all over the place. But, up here we've got rabbits to the max. And, of course, pheasants. I've hit a pheasant before and it busted in a windshield. But I actually saw a deer here not too long ago, maybe a month or so ago. Those are really rare. But, and then we've got you don't see too many possums, but raccoon, lots of damn skunks. I was this far, now that we're on YouTube, I was this far from eating a skunk the other day on the combine. I mean, I saw him, we were cutting Milo, and I shut it down, and I had one of those Draper headers, and I shut it down within inches of that thing. Yeah, and I'm like, God, I hope I didn't eat him.
There's a lot of guys that I know have done that, and I've heard about it anyway, and the smell of lingering skunk just doesn't go away until harvest is over, because the only reason it goes away is because you're not at the combine anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's about that's why it goes away.
We had a 9750 years ago, a John Deere, and my brother, he ate one. He ran it through the combine. And I mean, that is nothing more than a stink juicer.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally wring out the stink of that skunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. We get those pictures every once in a while. Someone that, I've seen them eat, fawns, baby deer, and I've seen them, I've seen now I don't know if this is a real picture or not, but I about every year it pops up when I get a look at it. But there's a deer that is interwoven inside of a corn head, and I don't know for sure how that worked, but it was a nice buck too.
Like a deer pretzel.
Yeah, it looked like an accordion when it got done.
Wow.
So I don't know how that happened. I really don't know how that happened, but it's within like three of the units there, burrow units on those corn heads, and I don't know how it got weaved in there like that, but it sure did. But
yeah,
there's a number of things that get ran through a combine during harvest, and that's it's an amazing thing.
I saw a picture last night on Twitter. Somebody, I don't know, I guess all you can say is some asshole tied a piece of rebar to a corn stalk, painted it like green and brown so it would blend in. So when they came and somebody cut their corn, whoever owned the corn, it would jack them up. Can you believe that? I mean,
did the combine run through the machine, or did they stop?
Well, somebody took a picture of it. I don't know how they saw it. Maybe they were out there looking at the corn before it was ready to cut, but they had like this piece of like this fence post rebar, and they just tied it to the stalk, and I mean, it would really probably all it had done was lock down the row unit, but they painted it like green and brown to make it blend in, so somebody would eat it. I'm just like, what kind of
environmentalist?
Oh yeah, it's probably true. Some environmentalist terrorist or something,
or the guy that wanted to run that ground but got outbid in the bidding process.
Little did he know he was the winner in that deal, probably.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly
I don't get to cash rent this for $500.
I'm trying to grow my farm. Yeah, well, you're probably better off that you didn't do that.
Yeah, blessings are sometimes a no.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
anyway, crazy.
What are your Thanksgiving plans this year, Brent? Are you going? You got a big plan?
Yeah, we no, not really. Since both me and my wife are from the same town here, we our holiday plans are usually pretty muted as far as travel, because we live about 2 miles from my parents, and we live 20 miles from her parents. So most of the time we go Thanksgiving, we'll go out to her parents, and they have a big, of course, both her brother and her sister, they both live here too. So it's usually it's pretty a big to do. Now, my brother-in-law, my sister's, Joanna's sister's husband, he's from Nebraska, and sometimes they go up there depending on what they did the previous year. But God Almighty, that's like a freaking, I don't know, it's like a 12-hour drive, because it's northern Nebraska, kind of northeastern Nebraska, and then my other brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they're from his wife is from Vernon, which is pretty much halfway between here. Is that halfway between here and Dallas? Almost. So they go there a lot of the time too. But usually we have a big to-do at that in-laws, because we've got 2 boys. Joanna's brother's got 3 little boys, and then, the other one there, I guess they're teenagers. But it's pretty wild to do, to say the least. What about you?
Yeah, no, me and my wife are from the same town as well, but it's 600 miles from where we live at now. So everything that we do is a travel. So when we go back home for Thanksgiving, it is or Christmas, either one. I usually have about 3 or 4 stops to make during each holiday between my wife and I. So there is it's a constant whirlwind, and more than you can eat. The fun thing about it is half of them like to drink. So when I get to those 2, I would kind of save those for later in the day.
Yeah, that's not ours.
I don't get tuned up first and then go to my grandma's house. So I try to save that for later in the afternoon.
Oh yeah. No, these are dry affairs, the ones we go to. So, which is probably better, because I'm loud enough as it is, as you can imagine.
Yeah, there's the nice thing about the ones where where we drink at, the conversation does tend to drift into things we probably shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah, around the Thanksgiving table. But hey, it sure is fun. Yeah. Well, you only make memories once.
That's right.
When you get old, you forget them. So
that's right. That's right. That's right. All right, Brent, what else you got before we shut this thing down?
Oh, man, not a whole lot as far as the personal front. I bet I can pull the Drudge Report up and look at something. But on the political front, looks like the Democrats won the Kentucky governor race. I don't know if they've called it or not, but it was too close to call this earlier this morning, but political front, everything's going crazy. Holy crap. Too dangerous to go to court. Feds say Aryan gang members eyeing jail security locks them down. Dude, they got a picture of this guy. He has got, looks like he's got like a Terminator eye, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Holy crap. That is nuts. Anyway, so that's kind of neither here nor there. But just the pictures you pull up, just like on your homepage. And I don't know whose people's home pages are, but the ones I guess mine are, they're just news pages. Like here's a story about strap hanger takes mini horse on Bay Area train ride. Now, what's a strap hanger? A mini horse that serves as a Bay Area resident service animal. Oh God, was allowed on a commuter train in San Francisco, of course, Tuesday on the train. The horse owners provided paperwork to a transit worker on the BART system, and the horse was cleared for entry, the train system said on Twitter. After consultation, the horse was allowed in. Sweet Maria. They need to take it to Santa Anita racetrack. That horse won't last 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Forget emotional support dogs. In San Francisco, we have emotional support mini horses. Oh, wow. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm sure that horse took a big horse-sized dump. I don't care if it's a mini horse. Jeez.
The whole mini horse support animal thing kind of gets me a little bit, man.
Dogs is it. That's it. No more.
When I watch those videos of people trying to take their Shetland pony on an airplane.
Uh-huh. Or a peacock.
Yeah, peacock. Yeah, that was the other one that I liked.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
You need to put down the animal and pick up the Zoloft because that or some Xanax or something because you're just taking that because you want to. It's not because you have to. You want to. It's kind of like people who get like covered in tattoos. And again, I'm not against tattoos. You know, if you are cool, but don't get all shocked and bothered when you have a skull tattoo peeing blood on your face and think I'm not going to give you a second look. Okay. Yeah. I mean, just expect it. If you don't expect it, you're the dumb one, not me. You're the judgy one.
Right. Yeah.
So,
when they look crazy like that, you kind of step back and you'd be like, yeah, dude, I don't know what you want me to do here. I can't help myself.
I'm sorry, dude. The position's been filled. It's just, I mean, I don't know what you expect. So yeah, it's but no, the politics has gone wild and the internet's just egging it on. Pretty wild stuff.
Yep. Right on.
Pretty wild stuff.
All right, Brent. Folks want to find the Dryland Farmer podcast. Where do they find that at?
Oh, they find it everywhere you can find podcasts. I've even got, I need to send Casey some pins that I made.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get up there. It says, big dudes roll big. No. Oh, it's not going to work. It says the Dryland Farmer podcast.
Right on.
Yeah, we can find it. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all the great places, Facebook, and I always drop it on Twitter via my Twitter handle. That's at Trader Brent. My co-host Landon is no twit Landon 44, even though it really should be at DBag 6473. But that one was already taken, so he had to go with that one. So nonetheless, that's where you're going to find us. Of course, you're going to find us on the Global Ag Network. Word. And I know they're doing some kind of they're doing a newsletter now. So I saw that. I've been meaning to promote that. But yeah, I guess there's going to the website and then somewhere at the bottom there's a place bottom of the page, subscribe. Yeah,
you can subscribe to the newsletter and get all this glorious information about all the amazing podcast hosts on the Global Ag Network.
I love how when you get emails, they have the unsubscribe button. It's like in two size font.
Yep.
Like you can subscribe, but you can't. Your cursor is too big where you can't click on it.
Yep, and it's usually the same color as the background, so you can't have a hard time. It's a lighter shade or a darker shade of lightly darker or lightly,
Right. Yeah, a lighter blue.
In.
Yeah.
Just kind of blends in,
And it still doesn't really unsubscribe you.
No, then you have to take a survey. Of 57 questions.
There you go. Yeah. What was your mother's college roommate's second dog and third service animal?
Yeah, and then you're like, I don't know. Sorry, we can't unsubscribe you right now.
No. Wild
Good
stuff.
All right, man. We can find the Moving Iron podcast on all the same great places that Brent just rambled off. Plus, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Check out movingironllc.com for everything Moving Iron podcast related or Moving Iron blog related. And you can also check out on Tuesdays, I drop Hot Rod Farmer Minute, which gives you a chance to get a couple minutes of some amazing tip that'll help you keep your farm equipment running even longer. Make sure you check out Ray Bozak's website at Farm Machinery Digest.
Hot damn!
Even more information there. So, Brent, with next week, buddy, have a good one. We'll talk to you then.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Moving On podcast out.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hardworking people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.